The city of Parnu, also known as the summer capital of Estonia, is a city strongly marked by the seasonal fluctuations of tourism. Its seaside has been historically developed in synchronicity with the tourism industry. Up until the middle of the 19th century, land close to the sea was of little interest to the residents of Parnu, until local entrepreneurs started to develop bathing houses in response to a growing interest in bathing as medical treatment. These treatments largely served an affluent clientele from Tallinn, St. Petersburg and Moscow, traveling to Parnu as a destination for medical services inside of the Russian Empire. From 1919 to 1939, during the era of the independent Estonian Republic, Parnu started to redevelop a distinctive tourism policy. The villas at the seaside can be seen as a result of these efforts, in which the city government gave away properties to wealthy individuals from all over the country. They were able to build houses, but with the obligation to include apartments to be rented out to holiday guests during summer. At this point in time, Parnu first gained the reputation of being the summer capital of the country, in the perception of many taking over the role of the most important city during the summer months. The beach moved into the center of attention, and patients became holiday makers. During the Soviet occupation, in the years from 1944 to 1991, Estonia was once again forcefully integrated into a far-reaching empire. Parnu served as a provider of medical services for workers from all over the vast expanse of the Union. Workers were provided with vouchers for a 2-week treatment, including everything from lodging to food. Tervis Spa Hotel is a built remnant of this time, erected by the Estonian kolkhoz, an institution that collectively organized farming and food production in the country. In the aftermath of a secured influx of summer guests during Soviet times, Parnu was once again facing the challenge of redeveloping its tourism sector. It was in dire need of an industry that functioned without structural dependence on the population of an extensive territory and distributive mechanisms. In the early 90s, a task force in the municipal government worked out a new strategy for developing Parnu as a tourist destination. In a close partnership with Tallinn, Parnu, at the time unknowingly, regained the title of the summer capital of Estonia and started to develop as a tourist hotspot, making use of the principles of neoliberal competition and the market economy. Its title was symbolically granted by the city of Tallinn for the period of a couple of months in summer. Having overcome imperial subordination, reliance on the capital came into existence as remediation of the Soviet past. The redevelopment of Parnu as a destination for holiday making went beyond the predestination of purely medical treatment and fostered further emphasis on the seaside, the beach, and the summer season. During the beginning of the 21st century, Parnu kept developing as a summer city, capitalizing as much as possible on the 2-month period between June and August. The strong interurban dependence on Tallinn, which was independent of the seasons through its industries and reinforcing policies, grew with the consolidation of the summer capital title. Also, the main axis between Helsinki, Tallinn, Riga and Warsaw remained the focus of the touristic development of Parnu, following a historical lineage of holiday making in times of independence, constantly orientating itself towards Western Europe. This turn towards the west also included a focus on the Baltic Sea region, with new flight lines established to Oslo and Stockholm, as well as projects taking other coastal cities and countries into view. Following years of growth of the tourism sector after 1991, more downsides of Parnu's monofunctionality as a city of summerly enjoyment and treatment for spa visitors became apparent. Residents of the city that did not profit from the industry's revenue started voicing the estrangement they felt in a city that in their perception was less and less built for its residents, but more and more for the visitors during the summer. For some, the 2 months of the season were sources of revenue. For some, the city became unbearable during this time. Off-season in Parnu was a welcome period of calm and rest for those being busy in the summer, but a time span of deadly silence and desertion for many others. The city became more and more designed for people that mostly stayed only a week. The ecological pressure on the 3 kilometers of beach area became harder and harder to neglect, with Parnu sometimes receiving over 90,000 visitors on a festival weekend.
In the times before the colonization of the sea, also known as the times where things could have been better, Estonia's sixth national communication defined the dangerous water level of flooding as 160 centimeter above zero. During a storm in January 2005, the water level in Parnu rose to 273 centimeter. In 2007, the drafting of Parnu Comprehensive Plan until 2025 was initiated. The document was not fully adopted. In order to reduce possible harmful effects of flooding on human health, the environment, cultural heritage, and economic activities, the plan provided for 8 safety ensuring conditions for the development of flood-exposed areas. On paper, these were fully taken into account in the drafting of detailed plans. In 2010, the Crisis Committee of the City of Parnu was established. In 2012 to 2013, the Parnu city government participated in the Coastal Flood Warning System for the Baltic Sea project. Its purpose was to carry out a feasibility study concerning the creation of flood warning system for the coastal areas of the Baltic Sea. The implemented system was built on technology that included remote surveillance of the Earth and satellite communication. The system uses data from surveillance of the planet as input for the water level forecasting model and satellite communication to exchange information in emergencies when on-ground communication should malfunction. All these technologies and sensor systems did nothing to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, did not slow down global warming, the melting of the ice caps, and the increasing occurrence and severity of storms that resulted from the anthropogenic disturbance of the Earth's atmospherical equilibrium. The arrays of sensors driven by orbital satellite did, on the other hand, detect the storm that inevitably would reach a dangerous proximity to the Bay of Parnu and forecasted the immense flood risk inborn. This storm caused the sea level in Parnu to rise by 4 meters, leading to the sea overflowing most parts of the city located towards the seaside. The physical structure below Koninga, Kalia, and Mai Street were torn away by the masses of water. Most of the buildings that constituted the core of Parnu's historical resort heritage, as well as crucial infrastructure for summer tourism, sustained severe damage. Among these were Darvi Spa, Hedon Spa, Rana Hotel, Darvi's Paradise, the Beach Cafe, and many of the villas built by famous architect Olev Sinma. Looking into the future, the city of Parnu and its hospitality industry were forced with a tough decision. Should they build the damaged structures, preserve heritage by restoring and repairing historical buildings, or should they be replaced by new architecture? Or regarding the very real threat of the subsequent flooding catastrophe, relocate hospitality infrastructure. A competition to solve the problem produced an innovative, although not previously unheard of solution. The concept of a floating resort and holiday city in the Bay of Parnu was submitted, extended by the plan of connecting the Natura 2000 areas at Parnu's coast and transforming the floodplain into an extensive zone for natural protection among the ruins of the former developments. Some sections of the built structures under heritage protection were to be transformed to the resort island to be inserted into the rebuilt structures as original parts. Among those were, for example, the futuristic walkways of Darvi Spa, having remained largely largely undamaged due to the elevated position. Ross Adams, a writer and theorist of the early post-anthropocentric age, once stated that early attempts of humanity to come to terms with the self-inflicted damage on their planet were not about a future that is better, but rather about creating a techno-ecology that can absorb constant shocks while maintaining its functionality and organization. Thus, the geological Earth was bound to continue serving as a traded capital in their globalized and computational world. Narratives of preservation, contextualized by the latency of environmental disaster, kept fueling a regime that channeled development and reactive resources into defending existing structures against the forces of nature at any cost. Preserving existing institutions and industries with their genetic structures, physical as well as immaterial, meant being able to proliferate the socio-economic reality of capitalism. The struggle of human society to depart from the capitalistic logic and anthropocentrism embedded in the idea of resilience is, as we know now, one of the main characteristics of the slow death of the Anthropocene. The history of Parnu as a resort city continued in the shape of the reproduction of its touristic infrastructure in the face of catastrophe and the necessary resilience. The technology that enabled the resort island to stay afloat and defy the ever-increasing brutality of environmental forces enabled the continuation of Parnu as a node in an interdependent and planetary urban network. The floating city is a place of resilient technology that creates a space outside of nature and history, a bubble where the potentially obsolete resort heritage of Parnu can persist in a parallel reality, untouched by the forces of nature that constitute and characterize life on the mainland. The question of alternative future presence of Parnu after the flood remains. Could it have become a new city